What's good, y'all? I'm Jamel Parker, and this is YSM Sports Media. Wanted to talk about the Cold War in boxing. Now, this has been a long time coming, especially between Bob Arum and Al Heyman, but enter in Eddie Hearn as kind of the middleman. Now, basically, all of this is centered around the networks that's involved. And you got Fox, ESPN, Showtime, and newcomer DAZN streaming service. Everybody wants a piece of boxing. The problem is with everybody acquiring a piece is that everybody's agenda is different. And what Fox wants isn't what DAZN wants and may not be what Showtime wants and so on and so on. So it's going to be really hard for a lot of these fights to be made. And then you have the personal beefs between the three. And if you look back at the lawsuit between Bob Arum and Al Heyman, it's a $100 million lawsuit that they went back and forth to court for. So if you're standing in Al's shoes, do you think he would be inclined to do business with Bob Arum when he can make in-house fights? I mean, at the end of the day, like, what would you do? Are you going to help make another man rich who tried to take $100 million for you? No. And then you got to look at Bob's situation. Bob is contractually obligated to ESPN. So all of the cross promotional fights will have to be on ESPN. And Al has his own obligations to Showtime and to Showtime and Fox. So he's not going to do that. And then you enter in Eddie Hearn. Now, mind you, Eddie has been probably the most neutral with the other two promoters. But he's actively freezing out Jermell Charlo since he's not signing with DAZN. Like, Charlo won't be able to get any of those quality middleweight fights unless he fights on that platform. So everybody's guilty. So we have to stop singling out one side and start looking at the problem as a whole. Because Eddie and Al's worked together before. You had Kell Brook versus Spence. Sean Porter versus Kell Brook was another good one. They all worked together. And then the upcoming fight between Terrence Crawford and Amir Khan. That's Bob and Eddie. So these fights can be made, but I don't think they want to pick and choose what fights to be made. Lomachenko versus Corolla, that was a mandatory. So all of these things are going to happen when these promoters want them to happen. And just because you're hearing a promoter talk in the media doesn't mean he wants it to happen. Like, you got Joshua versus Wilder. That's a matchup that everybody wants. Spence versus Crawford. I would love to see it. Probably won't see it for another year or two, even though some fans don't agree with me. Lomachenko versus Mikey. Another fight I want to see. Tank Davis versus Lomachenko. Good matchup, but Tank Davis is at 130, so unless he moves up, we'll be seeing that. Let's stop looking at one particular side and look at the problem as a whole. And stop believing whoever's consistently in the media, because everybody has lied to you. Probably except for Al Heyman, but Al Heyman's shills have definitely lied to you. And so let's hold all parties involved accountable, not just the ones you like or you're biased against. And then maybe, just maybe, we'll start to get the fights that we want. Leave your thoughts and comments below. YSM Sports Media, we out.